Okay, so we're just going to start and say that I'm here with Mohammed, and welcome to Mohammed, who I think is at his home in Liverpool, New York, not England, as we came last year. But really, the work in the AI on AI that we're doing is really done by many people on campus, and there is a large group of people, I would say, that are at the I would say, cutting edge of the things that we're doing at Oswego. And John, I don't have you on here, but I'm going to ask you to chip in at times when we get to your part and the things that you folks are doing on AI. But Rick Buck's doing quite a bit when it comes to administrative. John and Stephanie I know is away this week, but also Paul Tomaszczuk as the representative, I'd say, for the associate deans and the policy people really have had a lot of the work that are contributing to the things that we're doing here at Oswego. So I know that a lot of this, we kind of get started, or the president is right behind this, and he says things like, "I want us to be an AI campus," and the question comes up, well, what does it mean to be an AI campus? And I think when the president talks about being an AI campus, he's really talking about going and embracing the technology, but also to do it in a way that's safe and ethical in terms for us to go and to implement it. So when we I think it's up to us, and so we have a steering committee that has been involved, and how are we going to go and define being an AI campus? So for us, we've come up with this um, rather generic, I would say, description of what it means to be an AI campus. And it means that we're looking at it from all different points of view. We want to do it safely so that we protect our privacy for what we're doing. We want to do it ethically, understanding that there are many constraints around AI and people might be concerned about the environmental impact that's there. There's also the loss of privacy that might be involved. And we want to do it in a way that's sustainable, both I think from an economic point of view, but also as we go through um, in terms of thinking of the environment. And I know that's one of our priorities here on campus. But we want to go and look at how we will go and embrace it and implement it in teaching, learning, research, and how we do it in administration. And then the last part of it is really it's a tool that is being utilized throughout the world. And the areas that we really want to focus on it are the ones that go and support our Oswego strategic goals. So to us, being an AI campus just means that we're going to embrace it in the way that Oswego does, the way that we normally do. But it doesn't change us necessarily in any way. And the things that we embrace, such as student success and all the other items, are still the same. Still go back to our mission and what we're trying to do. Are you going to take this one, Mohammed?
Sure. Yeah. So first we needed to define what is generative AI, right? What is artificial intelligence technology? How can we define it? And then we were able to set our strategies, our visions, our objectives around it. So what is generative AI? We defined it as a technology that can generate new content, and the content is not limited to text. It can be voice, it can be music, it can be video, and it can be images. Anything that the system can be trained on any type of data, and based off of the data that it is trained on, it can generate new content in different modalities. And interestingly, when we set this definition, when we adopted this definition, uh, video generators were not very popular. But recently we saw that, for example, ChatGPT announced its Sora system, which can now generate videos, which would be very helpful for the education system. Can you move on to the next slide, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Now that we have the definition, we have a comprehensive definition of generative AI, we wanted to see what are the key areas that we can use AI or we can prepare ourselves for the use of AI. So the biggest goal that we have at Oswego is the student success, right? We want to know what is the best way that we can use these technologies or we can guide our students on using these technologies to be successful. It's not just with their courses, right? It can be with any goals that our students have. So one of the things that the students would need would be AI literacy, right? We want students to learn how to use AI. We want the students to be familiar with these systems, and we want our educators to be familiar with these systems. Interestingly, we said the interesting part is that Oswego is becoming a very good pioneer of adapting technology. Recently, AACSB, the association that certifies business schools, sent us communication that they want all business schools within the next 5 years to have an AI literacy course as part of their business program. So that was something that we have as part of our vision, and we are preparing ourselves for. The next thing that we can benefit from AI is efficiency and innovation. If AI can help us do the job much faster than before, be more productive, right? We can use it to improve the efficiency of our activities at Surya Oswego. Our students can be more productive, our faculty can be more productive, our staff can be more productive. We can generate new courses using these technologies. With limited resources that we have, these new technologies, having access to ChatGPT, having access to cloud, having access to Ideogram, having access to different AI platforms, will give our faculty a chance to develop new innovative courses that can help students with this new world that they are facing. And the next thing would be enhanced service. With using AI, we can improve the quality of service that we are providing for our students. It can be simple tasks such as Q&A that they have about the start of semester, when can I drop a course, when can I take a course, what is the number of courses that I need to take to become a senior, how many courses before I'm a junior, right? All those questions. We can automate those types of activities. We can create chatbots that the students have access to on a 24/7 basis. They can ask their questions, they can get detailed answers right away, and it reduces a lot of workload from our campus workers, and at the same time, it creates a much better experience for our students. As we go on, we are thinking of having even more enhanced service with regards to AI, not just chatbots, but maybe teaching assistants that can customize training content for the students, that can customize examples for each student, which would enhance their learning and their whole experience with Surya Oswego much better. Can you please move to the next slide? Teaching, learning, and research, right? So we discussed the teaching part, so we can develop new courses, we can use AI in the courses that we have, we can use AI to create more content for the current courses that we have. At the same time, we can use AI for research. We may not have access to, let's say, PhD research assistants, right? But with these new systems, with generative AI tools that we have, right, we can, to a good extent, make up for the lack of access to those resources. Now our faculty can not only enhance their teaching, but they can also improve their research. One of the things that we need to achieve those goals, enhance the services for our students, prepare them, create AI literacy among the students and faculty, improve the services that we have, improve the teaching, and improve the research, is AI infrastructure. We need to make sure that our faculty, our staff, and our students have access to AI technologies in a secure way. We want to make sure that they have access to ChatGPT, Gemini, or different tools. We will see. We are exploring all options for our students to see which one best suits the needs of our students, the needs of our employees. And we want to make sure, at the very beginning, we mentioned that we want everything to be safe, right? We want to make sure that this access is secure. The data that we insert to the system, we want to make sure it's secure. We want to make sure that our students, our staff, our faculty data that is being put on the AI tools, the generative AI tools, is safe and secure. And that's one of the biggest considerations that we have when we evaluate different options that we have for providing AI access. AI policies and guidelines, we'll discuss more on that one, but different schools that we have are working on developing policies around AI that our faculty can use in their courses. So we can guide our students, we can clarify for our students, how can they use AI in their course assignments? How can they use AI in their day-to-day course or class activities that they have? We want to make sure that everything is transparent and everything is fair and everything is very clear for our students. And the last is safety, ethics, and sustainability. We know that generative AI tools consume a lot of energy. We want to make sure the infrastructure that we create, the access that we provide is considering the sustainability aspect, considering the environmental aspect of the technology that we are doing. So we want to make sure the companies that we go in contract with, the systems that we create in our school are using sustainable resources for energy. Can you please go to the
Okay. So the next, I mean, we're just talking about why we're doing this, and it really, um, it does feel like AI is a game changer as a tool for the way that we, interact with technologies for sure. But we want to ensure, like, the way that we're using it is it will support our strategic initiatives of student success. But the way that AI has barged into the mainstream of how we're doing everything really over just a couple of years, it is going to have a tremendous impact, and it's going to impact the workforce and the learning that students do over the next, as we move forward. So our goals are to help students understand the ethical use and the consequences, but also how to use it as a tool, the consequences of the tool, how it prepares the students for the future workforce. It's also going to have a role inside the economic development in our entire region and ensuring that we're not left behind as the world becomes and utilizes AI more. And I think we do want to balance and the opportunity to discuss and influence the use of AI in today's society. So when I think of some people, it feels like when we talk about AI and being an AI campus, it's one that really just goes whole hog into AI. I would say that we're doing it with our eyes open, and we want to have those kinds of discussions and understand the responsibilities that come with AI. So the way that we're going, and if anybody has questions, you can either put them in the chat, and I'll come back to it. And I think of this because Jackie sent me a question and asked about it. So how are we going about doing it right now? So we do have a committee that's working on. So we have a university level. It's a steering committee or it's a working group, but we have about 20 people who are interested. We meet on a monthly basis and kind of go over the projects that we have going on. And we'll go over a number of the projects that we have going on. And then there are a series of working groups that are that are working on different aspects. So, for an example, we've used the existing groups wherever possible. So the associate deans are working on, a new academic integrity policy that'll use AI. And I know that Scott had a committee, the Committee on Academic Integrity also went and developed some uh, recommendations for academic affairs on the use of AI. So there are a number of groups that are working on it. There are some departments that have their own. So for instance, I know business has their own group that are working on things. So that is the implementation structure that we've implemented. It's open in terms of the working groups that we've had, and particularly the AI working group. Um, so we do have, like I said, monthly meetings. We go over the projects and see how we're moving forward on it and how we need best to be planning as we move to the on additional projects. So I'll just then go on to, we have done a lot of work, and a focus has been on the literacy and how we're using AI and what people should learn to know. And certainly John and Stephanie Pritchard and the Center for Excellence in Learning and Teaching have really been leaders in what we're doing. And I'd say leaders on campus, but also really inside the SUNY system. So, John, I know you're like organizing everything, but why don't you talk a little bit about the things that you've been going on? Particularly, we started here with the reading groups that you've done.
Okay, yeah, we've been giving workshops on AI since about a month and a half after it was first released. So we've been doing that pretty regularly. We have, I think, 13 or so, 14 workshops that are devoted to teaching with AI and using AI effectively in teaching and learning. We had a reading group this fall with about 60, roughly 60 some members. And we also did that with SUNY Plattsburgh. We're going to be doing a spring reading group. I think we only have 25 people signed up for that, but we also have that AI Fellows program where we have people who are going to be working with that as part of a SUNY IITG grant. We applied for that. We got funding for 10 people to participate, and Sean is providing funding through CTS for the rest. And faculty there will be meeting monthly. We have an all-day workshop scheduled with everyone in that group a week from Friday. And they will be integrating AI in the classes in some way, introducing at least one assignment using AI, and we're hoping they'll do a bit more than that as well, and building it into their syllabus in some way and into their course design and course structure. Everyone in that Faculty Fellows program will be getting a small stipend. I think it's $600 or so, and we'll be getting some access to AI resources. The grant funding was fairly limited on that. I think it only provides a month access. We got to work on some of the details of that, but we're looking forward to that. And I'd encourage anyone interested in learning more about AI to attend any of the workshops. Most of them are scheduled for next week. I think we've got a couple going on this week. But we will be talking about things such as developing GPTs to automatize some of the activities that we regularly do, and creating personal tutors for students and other tools so that we can use AI to support students learning a little bit more effectively. And we'll also talk about some ways in which AI can be used to help improve the inclusivity of your classes. So I think we've got some really interesting workshops coming up.
And there's a wide variety of skills that you have in those 24 faculty, right, John?
Yes, some people have been using AI fairly extensively, and others are just getting started. And one difference we're going to do, well, going back to the reading group, one thing we're going to do is we'll have 5 meetings of that reading group every other week. And we're going to ask people, this came as a suggestion after the fall reading group, to try implementing something that they've read about and that we discussed one week in the next session of that. So that way we'll have, probably 40, 50 people. So there's some overlap who'll be working throughout the semester on AI and integrating in their instruction.
Yeah, so I think it's really, and it's very wide, the faculty members from all different schools for sure, and it's a wide representation. So I think we'll be touching AI in the classroom and really in many different departments, and people really be able to have a, more of an understanding of how it fits into where they're going. So also I've already mentioned, right, that the Committee on Academic Quality and Integrity is working on AI policy statements, and they've submitted a report to Scott, and he's working on the next actions with the deans. So I don't really have anything to add to that at this point, other than I know we should hear something early in the semester, I would think. And I know that Scott has already taken the document and shared it and done some editing with it as well. And the associate deans have updated the academic integrity policy, and I think there'll be a faculty assembly discussion very early in the semester. And so I know that Paul and some others will be working on that. And then one of my other concerns really is how we have data best practices. And Nicole Decker has been working on a presentation and on best practices and a document for us. So obviously we're very concerned about the data that we put inside the different tools and how they'll be utilized, and ensuring that we don't put any privacy information inside any of the tools that will then be used for learning down the line. So Nicole does have like a session next week on this in particular, but we'll also have a document too, and to ensure that people understand their responsibilities as they go and utilize these tools around campus. So when I also think of some of the other work that we've done around the campus, if I think back to a year ago, there was Stephanie in particular did a lot of contributions and worked with the Fact2 groups, and edited a couple of their documents that they did, one optimizing AI in higher education, and a second edition came out last year. And then writing across the curriculum also did some work on AI, and they had a session at 10 o'clock today on some of the work that they've done. So if you're interested, you could go back, because I know John puts out the sessions at the end of the day that we go. There's also a lot of work going, and we have a web page that has contents of some of the information, really the projects and our statement. And as we move forward, we'll have a lot more work, more direction in terms of what projects are there and what documentation is available. But it's very early. But certainly, I think I see Emily in the room with John and Ramin. Yes, she just waved. Okay. And she's done a tremendous amount of work and done some great work. So you know what? Since you're in the room, Emily, I'll let you talk about, which is a great web page that you had and a great resource for many people and librarians from all over SUNY, I know, have used it. Go ahead, Emily. Give a little background on what you have.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing a session about it on Friday, I think, sometime later this week. But I've been putting together just a web page, kind of trying to organize information about AI at SUNY Oswego, at the SUNY level, at the New York level, at the US level, at the beyond, like just trying to where are we situated in terms of policies and things that are going to impact folks at Oswego. And then I've got separate, I don't know, subpages. We call them tabs, but they're not really tabs anymore. Just about ethical concerns with AI. I've been collecting mostly news articles as they come out from reputable sources about environmental concerns, about concerns around bias in AI, concerns about like how students will learn, all kinds of things. I've got another sort of subpage about best practices for using AI, both in terms generally of like how do you come up with prompts and what can you do, but also a part of it focusing on how to integrate it into folks' courses, since I know that's going to be of concern to a lot of people around here. And I have, I think the last sort of subpage on this is me asking people to suggest a resource. Oh no, I forgot the Citing AI page. I didn't make that one. I can't take credit for Citing AI. Nicole Westerdahl, one of our other librarians, put that together. She did a fabulous job. So if you or your students have been wondering, how do I cite this thing? We've got a page helping you out. And then the last subpage is like, please, if I have missed something, tell me about it. I would love to add more things and keep this whole thing up to date and hopefully helpful.
That's great. Thanks a lot for, whoops. Am I back on the, I want to share this. Yeah. There you go. Okay, so there's all that you have. And I'll also say the instructional designers have a page as well, which is linked off of both the Oswego webpage and off Emily's page as well. And they have they have the current topics, but actually they have a series of resources that they have off the link on their page. So, and I think there's probably an instructional designer in the group here, but
Yeah, both Carrie and I are here.
yeah, do you want to say anything about it, Teresa?
No,
Or Carrie?
I think you did. I think we just provide basically some explanation pertaining to artificial intelligence and, what is generative AI, some of the benefits and drawbacks of AI, and a little bit on prompt engineering. It's very, very broad. It's very simple, but I figured it was a good starting point for our faculty. And the second part to our page is our resources, which we've tried to divide out between AI in teaching and articles and policies and institutional policy and things like that. So we try to keep that updated. The last update was in December. So as we see new resources, we bring them in. As things change, we try to keep that as current as well. So I think as a campus, we're very fortunate to have all of these different resources that can aid us in all aspects of what we do for this college.
Yeah, thanks a lot for getting that together and for sharing it with everyone. So, and there's also work going on in different departments. So I'll just go and I'll let Mohammad touch on the stuff that they're doing inside the School of Business.
Sure. So at the School of Business, we started very early. So as soon as ChatGPT was out there and we figured that our students are using it, we decided to have a committee on AI. So we had AI committee at the School of Business. We developed policies for our faculty. And interestingly, when we provided them with different wording options that they could use in their syllabi, faculty were very early to use them actually. So we provided our faculty, the AI committee provided the School of Business faculty with three options, three wording of AI policies for their syllabi. One was totally accepting it, letting students use it. The second level was the student could use it, but not for everything. It could be used for, let's say, grammar check, editing, etc., etc. And the third wording was for totally banning the use of AI for some, especially first-year courses. Faculty wanted to make sure that the students are learning the theory, so they are not using the platforms that we have to generate content for them. I can say that most of our faculty now have an AI policy or AI clause in their syllabi, which is very helpful for our students to know how they can use and how they cannot use AI. And if there is any conflict, let's say faculty notices a student using AI for the assignment that they have submitted, they have some resources to go and check and say that, okay, you were not, you didn't have permission to use it. Or it was fine that you used it for this purpose, that purpose, but not for, let's say, generating the whole assignment using AI. So especially in cases of any issues that we may have, these AI policies are very helpful because it's something that we can refer to, and the students are very clear about how they can use AI, how they are not supposed to use AI in each course. And we keep updating these policies. One of the things that I use a lot, and because I suggested to our faculty as well, is using the link to our library resources, especially on how to cite AI-generated content. And students know how to use that, right? But they don't know how to cite it, right? So we provided them with the link, so now they know where to find information about citing generative AI generated content. The other thing that we had at the School of Business was to develop courses. So we have MBA 634 ChatGPT for Business. As part of the MBA program, all our MBA students can take that course. We are working on prompt engineering minor, which would be a set of courses on different generative AI tools that we have, using generative AI for different purposes. And we are thinking of it as giving our MBAs a minor in generative AI or prompt engineering. We have an annual AI symposium. 2023, we had the first one. Then in 2024, we had the second symposium. And based off the grant that we received from NSF this year, actually last year, 2024, we can sustain the symposium until 2027. So now we have budget to have this annual symposium for the next 3 years. Our faculty are very active on publishing AI papers. We have faculty who have already published, and I know that there are multiple books, book chapters, and papers in process under review from our faculty. That would be very helpful because it shows that faculty literacy sessions that we have are working. Our faculty are more familiar with AI. They are doing more research on it, and they're getting to know and know better about these generative AI tools, which means that now that they have the AI literacy, now that they are something actually becoming AI experts, they can use it in their courses, which can improve the learning experience for our students and improve the AI literacy among our students. We had presentations at different schools, invited presentations. We were invited to present how we can use generative AI tools in courses at different schools in Germany. Barry Friedman presented Germany. We had invitations from Canada. We presented in Canada, in UK, and a couple of schools in the United States, Syracuse University and UC Denver, and multiple others. Sean, can you please?
Yeah, go next one.
So the tools. So we mentioned that we want to create infrastructure, right? Our students are using AI, our faculty are using AI, but most of them are using the basic versions or the free versions that are available. We want to make sure that we can provide, we're exploring the different ways that we have to provide the most advanced and most updated technologies to our faculty, to our students, and to our staff, to make sure that everybody has access to the most recent, to the most updated version of these tools. And we are very open with regards to exploring different technologies. We are not limiting ourselves to, let's say, just ChatGPT. We are exploring the different tools, and we want to make sure to find the one that best suits the vision that we have, the one that is most sustainable, the one that is the most secure, and the one that is giving our students, our faculty, the best technology. So we are currently considering tools such as ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot. We are exploring Google Gemini, and we are also thinking of Anthropic Cloud, among other platforms that we may want to consider in case you want to provide access to faculty and students. Can you go to
Yeah, go to the next one. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Oops, sorry.
So we are exploring all the tools that are available, but we want to eventually focus on a limited set of tools. So we want to compare all available tools and then pick a few tools that we can focus on for our faculty and for our students. We want to make sure that we can provide resources on those tools. So if we focus on, let's say, Gemini, or if we focus on ChatGPT, or focus on Anthropic Cloud, then we can provide resources on those specific tools and create an environment that everybody knows how to use their tools, how to access those tools, and obviously we can monitor the new advances in those specific, let's say, image generators, video generators, or text generators, and we can update the resources that we have based on the focus that we have, based on the focus, let's say, on Google tools, OpenAI tools, or other platforms that are available.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, in terms of tools, we do have a limited number of Google Gemini accounts, and once we get John's team set up, and I'm not sure exactly what that means by John's team. I mean, of course, the faculty fellows, we'll go and see. I know that there are some departments and units that might be interested in purchasing a license. And right now, Google Gemini is the spot that we focused on largely because we have a contract with Google. And the AI, the Gemini tool itself is covered by the contract that we have with Google. Going and moving to something like Microsoft Copilot just isn't incorporated with the tools that we have. ChatGPT, we've looked at it and it's very expensive at this point. So we'll have more to say on like if people are interested in those tools as we move forward. And that'll be a little bit once we get into the semester at this point. So I just had a list of all of the different AI sessions that John has coming up and in the time ahead. And actually, it was an excellent session yesterday with the students that ran, and that was really well attended, I think, too. So those are the ones that are here this week, I think. And then next week, John and Stephanie have really a number of sessions. They're not just all John and Stephanie too. You have a few other presenters that are coming, including Nicole's doing one, as I mentioned, on our best practices that we have going forward. And I know you've got a lot on the on Thursday too. And then you have your day on Friday is just focused with the faculty fellows, right, John?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And Jackie has one next week as well. I don't know that I have it on the list there, but I hope so. So really the next part we have is just we figured there'd probably be some discussion, questions that people have. I don't know that we have necessarily all the answers, but that's kind of what we've focused on up till now. So people have questions or comments or.
I got one. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead. That's Ramin.
That's what I mean, yeah. So, anytime I hear things about developing a minor for graduate students, it just perks my interest. I just want to be clear, there's a gainful employment issue with minors for School of Business. Just so you understand it, a student that takes 3 courses in a semester, that's how they become categorically full-time in the graduate program. They kind of need those 3 courses to apply to their degree, which is the MBA in that case. So the reason we don't have any minors in that context is that when you have a 30 or 33 credit graduate program, you only take courses for that degree. So minors tend to work fine in undergraduate programs because the total number of credits you have to earn is more than just the major. So clearly you can find a way to interleave your course taking so that you could complete one. At the graduate level, we generally go with advanced certs. just so that you understand that. That a 12 credit, 15 credit advanced cert that the student could do as overlap with them with the graduate program they're in, or it could be in addition to or just enroll in that. And you can probably make a case for gainful employment with that so they could get loans and so on. So just wanted to make sure that that was on your radar when if you're thinking about it for the graduate side, and I'll be happy to meet with you and Prabhakar and others if you do go in that direction.
Thank you very much, Ramin. I think you're right. I may not have used the right terminology, so minor is probably like for undergrad courses, but we were thinking of something like a concentration or even a certificate that we can provide based off of those courses. I will communicate with you about that one to get the right terminology and right pathway for moving forward. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm just gonna put that QR code is for the slides if anybody was interested in looking at that. And I am gonna stop my share and ask, is there any more questions? Well, John, that might be it then.
Okay.
If there's no questions,
Hey,
So-
Sean, can you put the QR code up again? Some of us,
yeah, I can.
some of us were not doing that.
We're not ready.
We're not ready. Thank you.
There you go.
Some of us still think they're decorations, so thank you.
Yeah, I know. I should have said that right at the beginning when we did
Ugh,
that.
my phone won't do it. Shoot. Okay.
I can send the I'll send it to you,
Thank you.
Sandy. Yeah.